Greetings to all. It is my honor and privilege to offer words of welcome at the Organization of American States in commemoration of the 4th Inter-American Week for Indigenous Peoples. This seminal week was established by the member states in February 2018 to promote the traditions, languages, history, and societal contributions of Indigenous peoples of the Americas. Since then, our organization has celebrated this week around August 9 each year to coincide with the United Nations observance of the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples. This year's theme is Leaving No One Behind, Indigenous Peoples and the Call for a New Social Contract in the Americas. Given the historic marginalization and exclusion of Indigenous peoples in decision-making processes, the theme reflects the urgency of redesigning a new social contract, which will include the meaningful and effective participation of Indigenous peoples. It is estimated that more than 1/3 of Latin America's population live in poverty or extreme poverty, with vulnerable groups such as the indigenous population being most affected. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated pre-existing, deep-rooted social and economic inequalities in our communities, further alienating already vulnerable populations, among them Indigenous persons. As our world continues to struggle with the pandemic, our societies must also begin contemplating a post-COVID-19 recovery plan that will include key tenets of inclusivity, equality, and equity. It is in this context that this year's Inter-American Week for Indigenous Peoples will be held with the aim of addressing the socio-economic challenges faced by Indigenous peoples and the opportunities which exist to reshape our world through the implementation of policies geared towards creating a more just and inclusive society. The voices of the Indigenous peoples must be heard, and their needs and concerns clearly reflected in this new social contract. These topics will be addressed in virtual events to be held this week at OAS headquarters and at special activities in the member states hosted by our national offices. The events at headquarters include a special session of the Permanent Council to commemorate the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples, which will feature high-level authorities from subregions of the hemisphere. Additionally, in collaboration with the Art Museum of the Americas and member states, a virtual exhibition of artwork showcasing Indigenous peoples' life and culture will be highlighted on social media platforms. We invite you to follow us on Twitter and our OAS webpage to view these activities and learn more about the challenges facing Indigenous communities during this time and the path towards a more inclusive and collaborative partnership with Indigenous peoples. Welcome once again. We look forward to your participation. Thank you.